Alright guys, the time is now for a showdown between the Warriors of Chaos led by Kolek Suneater and the Vampire Counts who are going to be led by Count Dooku. So without further ado, let's jump right into this match and have some fun. So up here in the front line, or I should say the Vanguard area, I do have three groups of the Marauder Horsemasters, and these guys are definitely bad boys against the Vampire Counts. So number one, they hit pretty hard with 37 missile damage, and they also have better range than the throwing axes. Yes, throwing axes do have a little bit better armor piercing, so arguably if there's a Terrorgeist, for example, sitting still, or some heavily armored Blood Knights, the throwing axes will do a little bit more damage. But I find that the throwing axes don't seem to be quite as accurate or direct as the missiles of the Marauder Horsemasters. And Marauder Horsemasters as a whole do have 37 missile damage, whereas I think throwing axes have something like 26 or 22. I can't quite remember. And anyways, one of the main targets in this matchup you're going to be taking on is the Mortis Engine. So these guys are great at taking out Mortis Engines. And honestly, I've had really good success with these bad boys taking down like Terrorgeists and Flying Zombie Dragons, even though, they are heavily armored targets. It just seems that, the missiles here are a little bit more effective than the throwing axes. But that's just been my experience. I would love to hear if you guys have had a different experience in the comment section below. So that's going to be my Vanguard force up here for my main line. Pretty standard stuff, at least as far as how I like to play. A couple groups of Chaos Warriors with Halberds. So these guys are just going to be standing and holding. They're not going to be like just cutting through the swaths of just Vampire Counts troops, but what's cool about them is you can kind of stand your SHAGGOTHs on top of them. And what often happens in this matchup, whenever you're playing in like a really competitive game, is you're going to be seeing double Terrorgeist. Often you'll see the Red Duke with Elseef and a Mortis Engine, and basically the Terrorgeists are just going to be using their breath attacks to burn down your SHAGGOTHs. They'll be cycle charging your SHAGGOTHs, and it's pretty tough for sure. But I found that if you stand on top of Halberds, or at least you have the Halberds to fall back to, it can be pretty helpful. And, Vampire Counts infantry aren't really, as beastly as, like, let's say, Chaos, for example, right? So if you have some Chosen here of 36, 54, and 46, these guys are going to be able to deal with Black Knights, Blood Knights. They'll be able to deal with Graveguard with great weapons, Terrorgeist. They're just like kind of a solid all-around pick. I've seen a lot of different builds against the Vampire Counts, but this is the one that I've had the most success with. And you can see right out of the gates here, the Marauder Horsemasters actually getting some huge damage right there on the Terrorgeist. I mean, yeah, okay, it's not as huge as I may have made it sound there, but it's still not bad. It's like 10%, 15%, which, I mean, these things are a real nightmare to bring down in this matchup. So any value you can get early on, getting them closer to their healing cap is going to be super nice. Anyways, Chosen in the middle, two groups of Chaos Warriors with Halberds, the double SHAGGOTH squad here. So we got Kolek and his little boy here, his little bro. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. The SHAGGOTHs, I think, are the best way to... I mean, you can try and contest this guys with like a Chaos Dragon and Exalted Heroes on Manscores, but I feel like that's just inefficient. I like to get Kolek with the Star Crusher as well as the Mini Dragon Ogre SHAGGOTH. I mean, it's tough because the Terrorgeists are always going to be getting the charge, but if you have some supporting fire from the Marauder Horsemasters and, can use the Final Transmutation effectively, it can be pretty good. So the SHAGGOTHs, we do have a Metal Caster, so I do think this is the most effective way. What you do, I mean, the Vampires are almost always going to be trying to Alpha Strike you. They're going to be coming in, trying to kill your SHAGGOTHs, pulling back, charging in again, just doing that over and over until your Lords are dead. So what you do is you just cast the Overcasted or just regular Final Transmutation when they charge in, and it's so strong. If you're able to hit like 2 Terrorgeists and a Lord with that, it can just be game-breaking for sure. We have the Demon Spew in the back, so I really like these guys because of their Cloud of Flies. So they have that nice Nurgle ability here, giving a -5 melee attack to all nearby troops or enemy troops. And they're also really good at mulching down through infantry. And another kind of bonus of them is they apply poison. So if the enemy lords are like chasing Kolek, for example, and you need something to peel that also hits hard, the Demon Spew are a very, very good choice here. So that's pretty much it for my force, pretty narrow. And for my opponent, he has a pretty standard competitive Vampire Counts list. He does have the double Terrorgeist. He has the Red Duke with Elseef, Invocation, and Raise Dead. They're going to be using Elseef in conjunction with some good timing charges. You can see we're getting some actually really good damage here on this Terrorgeist, having done like 1,000 plus damage. The rest of his army is mostly chaff. Two groups of the Graveguard with great weapons, which are very solid against Halberds. Zombies, skeletons with spears. He also has the Mortis Engine. A couple of Fellbats to chase down my skirmishers. And then in the back, he does also have the Dire Pack, who is outstanding at chasing down the Marauder Horsemasters. Also, another perk of the Horsemasters is they're a little bit better in melee. They have 26, 26, and, just 26 on all their combat stats. And I think the Marauder Horsemen have like in the low 20s, if not high teens, so they're definitely solid. Also, on the wings, I forgot to mention, I do have a group of Poison Hounds. Just going to be using those to counter my opponent's hounds. So if the Dire Pack does come in, I wanted to have something to defend with, and they can also chew on some zombies for free. Anyways, getting that skirmish fire, just chasing down the different Terrorgeists, but my opponent doing some pretty good dodging now that he's realized the fire's coming in. Initially, I was able to get a couple good volleys, but since then, I haven't really been able to since he started doing the side strafing, as they say. So my forces are going to be advancing here to meet him. And it's really important in this matchup that you keep all your forces high and tight. If the Vampire Counts can isolate anything, it can be disastrous. So Breath Attack coming in right here. He gets pretty good damage here on the Horsemasters, does about 6 model kills. The next one kills, looks like another 2, so not like terribly devastating. But, I would prefer it's on these guys rather than on Kolek and my big boy SHAGGOTH squad here. Anyways, we're going to be charging with the Halberds, and essentially what I was saying, you need to keep everything close together, right? So what I do is I engage with the Chosen and the Halberds that are on the left side of the formation, and I form a flank denial with this far side group on the right. So that's going to like force your opponent. If your opponent has a wider force, this is a very good tactic because it's going to force him to march really far to get around your formation, and it will definitely make your force quite a bit more durable, I would say. Anyways, the halberds are going to be engaging with the zombies. The Mortis Engine looking for a home, but I am kind of screening it with the Marauder Horsemasters. I'm also following it with the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, so you can see Kolek as well as his bro here going to be waiting. And it looks like the Terror guys are thinking about striking, maybe jumping in there. I am going to be throwing some spears here at the Mortis Engine, getting some solid damage for sure. And the 2 Shaggoths will be going in there as well. And, you know, at this point, I do have the Final Transmutation. I have pretty good Winds of Magic. I kind of just want my opponent to attack me so I can get that just fat, juicy Final Transmutation here. So he's going to be swooping in with the Terrorgeists as well as the Red Duke. Elseep has been popped on Kolek, and for anyone, or it's about to be popped if memory serves. He does have Fellbats in the back, and unfortunately for me, I did not realize he had the Dire Pack hiding in the forest. So these guys can easily just swoop out here and shut down my Marauder Horsemasters, which is going to free up the Mortis Engine play. Over here, though, the Demons be really chewing through those zombies, and my Hounds in the back were able to kill that entire pack of zombies as well. So getting rid of some of that chaff is definitely quite useful. Elseep has been popped, definitely going to be taking some damage on Kolek, but here comes the goodies. Final Transmutation, and it was overcasted. So we hit everything, just beautiful. We hit the 2 Terrorgeists, we hit the Red Duke, we hit the Mortis Engine. The magic damage, of course, is going to be very strong. He does respond with an Invocation of Nehek, which counteracts a lot of the damage, but we still melted that Terrorgeist. I mean, this thing just got its salad jaw so damn hard. So it's going to have to pull back here. Invocation, of course, topping it off a little bit. The battle in the back is underway, so my opponent did get the Dire Pack as well as the Fellbat swarming in, but now I'm going to be using the Demon's View. It's like a backline sweeper, so they're going to be sprinting in there to engage the Dire Pack, and they're just going to cut these dogs to pieces. It's going to be just great stuff for the Forsaken here. They hit really, really hard, have a good charge bonus, 64 weapon strength on these bad boys. Really low armor piercing, but against like Fellbats, Direwolves, things like that, it doesn't really matter. However, I would say my opponent's harass is still pretty effective. I mean, he did a ton of damage to my Horsemasters. It bought time for his Mortis Engine to be effective, but the real battle is here in the front. So right here, he does have the Terrorgeist. I think I popped the Star Crusher right now. So that gives me 40% armor piercing damage, also a splash attack. So we're just trying to... That looks like it hit the Mortis Engine too, so maybe it splashed on both of those. I'm actually curious about that. Anyways, we're just laying a bit of a whooping on this Mortis Engine. Another overcasted Invocation of Nehek coming in. And I know that Kolek's taking a lot of damage, but I know I have to fight. I have to kill these things because if this Mortis Engine stabilizes, I'm going to be in huge trouble. So the other Shaggoth is able to chase it down and break it, which was quite nice. So right now, as far as like monsters units goes, it's the Terrorgeist, well, basically like one that's almost dead, another one in the Red Duke versus Kolek, who's almost beat up, as well as the Shaggoth. However, my halberds are doing very well. So you can see the halberds down here, I believe these are the Chosen, are just cutting holes through these chaff units. It looks like the Auxiliary Graveguard are going to be pushing in. Another breath attack, which I was able to sidestep with Kolek, so I was able to dodge that, which is huge because he is very low at 2400 HP. But the Metalcaster and the Halberd's doing pretty good, actually getting through these Graveguard with Great Opens, so we are slowly defeating the Vampire Count's like main line. That pretty much happens in like every matchup. What happens is the Warriors of Chaos will lose the leadership fight, they're going to lose their Shaggoths, and then the Chaos Warriors will win the infantry fight, but then the big monsters just like tear it out and kill everything. So it's definitely tough, but we're doing a pretty good job here. I would say the Marauder Horsemasters are back online, so we were able to clear up all of that backline harass, and I still have the Demon's Spew, and I'm using them very defensively, right? Because I'm expecting these Terror guys to charge in on Kolek and try and snipe him out, so I'm trying to keep the Demon's Spew nearby, so I could charge them in, get the poison, slow down the Terror guys, and potentially retaliate effectively. He was kind of sitting up in the air playing a little bit of a patient game here, so I decided to charge in here and attack these Graveguard with Great Weapons, get some freebies. And, I mean, a couple attacks from Kolek as well as a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth are definitely enough to, you know, even the battlefield right here and let these Chosen win that engagement. My Horsemaster is still throwing some spears up here. Hopefully we can get this Terrorgeist to its healing cap, so when it does land, we could potentially kill it. The Demon Spew were fighting some of the zombies, but I figured, hey, let's bring them over here. We have a much more important fight versus these Graveguard and these Spearmen and some of these other troops. My Hounds in the back, unfortunately, were broken off. I was just chasing down chaff units and trying to finish off the Dire Pack with those bad boys. But yeah, just being super cautious because I know that, like, this is, the balance of power is like dead even. This is just a super close game. I'm just going to be using the last of my ammunition on these Marauder Horsemasters, trying to optimize their efficiency here. Make sure I get every bang for my buck. I do get a Lord of the Storm right there on the Graveguard with Great Weapons, which is really just going to make those Chosen win that matchup even more, you know, in a more one-sided manner here. These Chaos Warriors do have 52 models, chewing through the Graveguard with Great Weapons, definitely paying their dues. And just, you know, bouncing back and forth with the Demon Spew, trying to get in, do some damage, pull back, make sure they protect Kolek, and we actually got some really good damage on the Red Duke with those Horsemasters. He does have a couple spears. I mean, he's trying to dodge, but yeah, he's taking some of those spears right to the face. But it's about that time where I'm kind of feeling that like there's going to be an Alpha Strike coming in, and I have to react as well because he's now going to start attacking my main line with the Terror guys, which you see they get terrified. So now they're going to be getting chased by zombies. I'm going to be taking massive casualties. Thankfully, the Chosen and the Demon Spew are holding pretty firm. You can see they're just fighting in the pits in here, just cutting up these zombies. And I really do think the Demon Spew are potentially a staple in this matchup. I mean, that Cloud of Flies And those really tight situations in which the Terrorgeist are fighting the Shaggoths can make a pretty big difference, plus the poison, and their DPS output, of course, is really good at getting through the chaff units, which are so good at mucking down Chaos Warriors and Halberds and things like that. Anyways, just forming a bit of a goon squad. I am out of ammunition now for the most part, so just using the Chaos or the Marauder Horsemasters to charge down the zombies and get rid of the chaff units, and we do get a nice rear charge right there on the Graveguard, so the Chosen and Demon Spew have won that engagement. Definitely very happy about that, but Kolek is pretty low. I think my opponent has been using all of his breath attacks. Looks like there's going to be another zombie summon coming down. He does catch a couple of my Horsemasters, but I should be able to pull out. That's what she said, and get another good engagement here. Anyways, the Terror guys are going to be swooping in the skies, and unfortunately Kolek got a little bit isolated, so a little bit of a lapse in my micro there, so I do pull him back to my Forsaken, as well as the other Shaggoth, and we're in pretty good shape there. So another breath attack coming down, though. My opponent making sure to maximize those things. They do pretty good damage, so 2,200 down to 1,500 with that direct hit, so huge mistake. I mean, I must have been microing something else because I didn't have the time to sidestep that or did not notice it. But yeah, we're definitely pretty in a pinch here. The Red Duke does overcast an invocation of Nehek, hitting all these troops here. Now we're in the final fight. Balance of power is pretty even. If anything, maybe a little bit in the favor of the vampire counts, but this Terrorgeist is very low. This one is full health, unfortunately. It's going to be tough to take down, but the Red Duke does get the LC. If he goes in on Kolek, does about 400 damage. So that was just a huge punch right there. However, I do have one more trump card up my sleeve. I do have the Final Transmutation, so we're going to be using that right there. Hopefully it'll be melting the Terrorgeist. It wasn't overcasted. I didn't have enough Winds of Magic, but we hit that Terrorgeist. He is just getting crunched by that Final Transmutation. Balthazar Gelt would definitely be proud, and the other Terrorgeist is actually going to go down. The Shaggoth gets a great hit. He's crumbling. He's negative leadership. And down goes the Foul Beast, so he's going to be tumbling from the sky here. You better go down. And he's at 33, but they do regenerate as well, so it's kind of counterbalancing it, and down to 11, and down he goes. So the Terrorgeist does tumble down and plummet to the earth. And Kolek is, he's in the danger zone for sure. He's very low. I think he has like 400 HP. But my other Shaggoth is in really good shape, and we're actually getting huge value from the Demon Spew. So the Demon Spew and the Halberds are able to chunk down quite a bit of HP from these Terrorgeists. They're able to poison them. And you can see I do use some Marauder Horsemasters because they have pretty good mass. I charge in there, I force path the Demon Spew, I force path my Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, and we're getting as much damage as we can on this Terrorgeist. He's definitely, going to be taking some damage from his leadership. He is crumbling. It looks like he's like back and forth from critical binding to crumbling there. But the ground fight is pretty much won. I mean, I have some Halberds rallying out here on the far side. The Chosen are in good shape. The Demon Spew are in really good shape. All pretty tough targets to take down. And I still have my Metal Sorcerer, who's not a pushover. Kolek, unfortunately, is going to be falling to the Red Duke. But, he definitely paid his dues this game. He got good kills, had really good Lords of the Storm, and with the Star Crusher was able to get some really good trades. So the Red Duke, that just looks so ridiculous. The little prison shank in the, he like cut his Achilles heel there and knocked him down there, which definitely not fun for him. But in the main fight, we do have the Chaos Sorcerer finishing up the last of the chaff units. Over here, we did another 800 damage, give or take, on this Terrorgeist with the Marauder Horsemasters. But my opponent did have some loose zombies over here. He was able to run to the zombies to block up my charge, which was very, very smooth stuff there. But it's a close bout, but I think I am pulling ahead in the Bounce of Power. You can see that the Chosen, even with what he has, I mean, he could Cycle Charge me, but the Chosen plus a Demon Spew plus a full health Dragon Ogre pretty much, and a full health Deathcaster or a Metal Caster is still going to be really tough to take down. So at this point, we clean up all the chaff units on the ground, which means if there's no units left on the ground, I think the Red Duke is pretty much out of mana as well. He hasn't cast any spells. He overcasted a ton of Invocations of Nehek, so he must be running pretty bone dry. And at this point, you can see we're going to kill the last of the chaff units, and he's going to start taking a penalty for being up in the air. And at that point, my opponent is going to bow out because, yeah, there's definitely no way he can kill all the Chosen, the Demon Spew, the Shaggoth, as well as that caster. So very well played to my opponent. It was a super intense game. I really do think that the Shaggoths are the way to go. I mean, I've heard people have different opinions, and maybe they've had success in different venues, but I really do think the double Shaggoth is the way to go. And using the Metal Sorcerer, so you bait in the charge, they're going to have to come after your Shaggoths. And if they come in with like one Terrorgeist at a time to try and avoid the Final Transmutation, I mean, I feel like it's not going to be that effective, right? You can then 2v1 them with your Shaggoths. You can win the infantry fight. They need to come in with multiple Terrorgeists to really get that like punch, right? But having that overcasted Final Transmutation just dumpstered so much damage on to all of those guys, including the Mortis Engine. So, but yeah, I mean, it was a really close game. A couple things I think it could have gone a little bit different. For example, the damage I got in the beginning with the Marauder Horsemasters was very, very potent. I think if he had done a little bit of side strafing and had mitigated that like 1,000, 1,500 damage, it could have helped quite a bit. Maybe it would have lived longer, done more damage to my Shaggoths. And the Mortis Engine maybe being a little bit more conservative with that, but it's definitely tough with the two Shaggoths chasing it because they're very fast, and it wasn't the Clothing Gash. And on top of that, it needs to be in melee to be effective, right? Otherwise, it's just going to be sitting on the outskirts while the Shaggoths go to town. So I mean, it was a great game. It was very close, very fun, and very well played to my opponent Aristodemus over there. 289, 354 on the Demon Spew. I really do think these guys are a hidden gem here, and I recommend giving them a try yourselves. So yeah, again, very well played to my opponent. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this Warriors of Chaos game, and guys, we will see you guys next time. Take care.